It's time to talk sports. It's Hacksaw's Headlines, a panorama of the world of sports, stories, comments, and opinions. Now, here's iconic sports talk show host Lee Hacksaw Hamilton and co-host John Riley.
Who wants to talk sports on a Monday? We do. You do. From the DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Center studios in San Diego, coming off a great sports weekend, we welcome you to this Monday bonus podcast. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, along with my co-host, John Riley, and we are ready to talk sports with you. This podcast is brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. Been in business for more than 100 years. You got projects, they've got materials. You want ideas, they can be your best friend. They're your consultant. Go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things that they have to offer. John Riley, good afternoon. The world is upside down. It's day one of NFL free agency. Wow, that's the only thing I can say, and we're going to cover that and all the other topics in the world of sports. Are you ready?
I don't know. I don't know if you're ready. You walked in here, your head was about to explode with all the breaking news.
It's just unbelievable. We're going a lot of different directions. We are going to put topics on the table because we do sports talk the way it should be done. Lots of topics, cover the waterfront, express opinions, and then when we're done, you are urged, invited, demanded to take over control of this podcast by joining us in the chat room. It's called Fans Forum. How does it work?
Yeah, guys are already jumping in there, wondering if we set our clocks correctly over the weekend. You know, a lot of time questions going on in Fans Forum. But hey, if you got a question in the world of sports for Hacksaw, drop your take in the live chat on YouTube, X, or Facebook. We'll get you involved in Fans Forum.
You violated the dress code. I can't believe you're wearing that A's hat.
Well, at least we're both wearing some green. How's that? It's March.
That is true.
Yeah.
Listen, a lot of different things we're going to cover today. Just a couple of business notes. Fans Forum comes up at the end of the podcast. Today is the first day of NFL free agency. If I were you, I would not miss my website. I wrote a ton of NFL. Just go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com, punch in the best 15 minutes of sports page. You'll just be amazed at all the data that I provide. And I, were you, would not miss tomorrow's page on website, all things National Football League, first day of free agency. Want you to share. Tell everybody what these two dummies do Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. Want you to subscribe. When you subscribe, you will get the alert. Ding, 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 when we put additional videos up on the YouTube channel. We put 10 videos up there yesterday for you, the fans, to choose from. Join me on social media. Want you to join my social media Twitter all-star team on X. Just type in my name, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, hit the follow button, or go to @Hacksaw1090, hit the follow button. Want you to give us a thumbs up. Want you to hit the follow button. Want you to give us a 5-star rating. It helps us a great deal. I am ready. Are you ready? Because we're going lots of different directions. John, where do you want to start?
Yeah, we'll start with the NFL. This is where all the breaking news is.
You ready for this? The first 3 hours of NFL free agency that teed off Monday morning at 9 a.m. The first 3 hours, 66 named players changed teams in 3 hours' time. And you add into that 5 or 6 different trades. Add into that number of named players given outright releases as teams eat their contracts. Just absolutely stunning. Let's just start at the top of the board. The Miami Dolphins have a new starting quarterback. They paid a hefty price. They wound up signing Malik Willis of the Green Bay Packers, former Tennessee Titan draft pick. They signed him 2 years, $43 million. He replaces Tua Tagovailoa, who was given his outright release in the early morning hours on Monday. Miami is eating a $99 million cap hit. $67 million of it will be this year. The rest of it will be next year, is a post-June 1st release. That's an ungodly amount of money that Miami has to swallow. That's item one. Item two, Kansas City is undergoing a personality change to their offensive unit. They, out of the blocks, signed the Super Bowl MVP, Seattle running back Kenneth Walker. Walker gets a multi-year transaction contract, comes in to be the heavy-duty guy. This despite the fact that Kenneth Walker had a bunch of injury problems before he had his one mystical year in Seattle. Can't believe Seahawks did not get him re-signed, but Kenneth Walker has gone to Kansas City. Kansas City has shed themselves of these offensive linemen who can't block. They're making a lot of changes to their football team. And by the way, Travis Kelce informed the Chiefs this morning he's coming back for his 14th season. Raider Nation. How low can you go? Well, the abyss has been pretty bad. The black hole, they're trying to climb out. They got a long way to go. They did something in the early morning hours Monday that nobody in the NFL can believe. They signed Baltimore's offensive center, Tyler Linderbaum, to an all-time record offensive line contract. This is a center. This is not the gold standard left tackle who normally gets the highest price of anybody in the National Football League in the offensive front. This is Linderbaum, as offensive center. He got a 3-year, $81 million contract, all-time record. Now, he's going to help them a great deal. They also went and got another young wide receiver who's got great upside, Jalen Naylor, wide receiver, Minnesota Vikings. The guy's got speed. The guy's got good hands. That's a nice addition to the offense. They're not done. I'm sure there's other transactions coming, but the NFL is staggered that the Raiders would give that kind of contract to a 30-year-old offensive lineman. You recall years gone by when Cleveland gave $230 million to Deshaun Watson, the troubled quarterback in Houston that they traded for, and that set the league back. Because anytime you go record contract in one player, it impacts everybody else. What they just gave Lindemann in Las Vegas is now set a high-water mark for every offensive lineman at any other position in the trenches. Wow. Big story there. Rams, do it again. In addition to the philosophy, F those draft picks, they paid ungodly amounts of money on a contract extension in the trade that they made to get Trent McDuffie from Kansas City. And then in the early morning hours on Monday, they raided Kansas City again. They got one of their top young cornerbacks. So they got the two top cornerbacks off the Kansas City Chiefs secondary because they got Jalen Watson from Kansas City. I tell you, the way the Rams do business is really different. The way the Rams do business guarantees, probably synonymous with the term Super Bowl going towards next season. Next one is Carolina. They went out and got a really good pass rusher. Slowly and quietly, they're building a nice roster in Carolina. They went out and got Jalen Phillips, ex-Dolphin, ex-Eagle. Eagles had traded a fairly high pick to get him at the deadline, and then they don't re-sign him, which is a bit of a surprise to me. So Carolina goes and gets Jalen Phillips. Tampa Bay, they ran out of skill players around the quarterback last season. Now they've gotten some more skill players. Kenneth Gainwell, very good running back, third down back, kick return guy. He jumps from Pittsburgh. He goes to Tampa Bay. He'll be one of their rotating starting running backs. They also signed Alex Anzalone, really good inside linebacker, big heart, speed guy, Detroit Lions. Indianapolis Colts, really busy. You know, they transition tag Daniel Jones to start the weekend, so they lock him down at $38 million. Then they trade Michael Pittman, who had 85 receptions last year. They traded him out, cleared cap space, and I feared they were going to lose Alex Pierce. They did not let Alex Pierce get on the open market. Overnight, before the window opened at 9 a.m., they signed Alex Pierce to a record $31 million contract, so Indianapolis has been able to keep its people. In terms of the Chargers, wow. Chargers, active. They're losing people left and right. They're signing people left and right. What's going out the door is better than what they're bringing in the front door, so I'm not quite sure I buy everything that Joe Ortiz has attempted to do. Item one, they just lost the linebacker, Odafe Oweh. He goes to the Washington Commanders on a big money contract. Item two, They lost former number 1 draft pick, offensive guard Zion Johnson. He goes to the New York Football Giants. Like I feared, a $20 million contract. That's an overpay. They did re-sign Khalil Mack. 1 year, $18 million. Still got gas left in the tank. They signed a center, Tyler Biadasz, Washington Commanders, but he's a second-tier guy. He's not. He'll be better than Brad Bozeman, but he's not Pro Bowl caliber. They signed a fullback, Alex Ingold, Miami. That's the influence of Mike McDaniels. And they also signed another tight end. They signed Charles Kolar, backup blocking tight end, Baltimore Ravens. Blocking tight end, nothing sexy there. So they've lost some guys that I thought were pretty good players. They've obviously added some people, and they're going through some $93 million of cap money that they had. Dallas Cowboys, they made a trade. They traded a 4th-round pick to Green Bay for a really tough guy, defensive tackle, Rashawn Gary. That's a pretty good football player. Kind of fell out of grace, did not have as good a season in Green Bay, but prior to this season, boy, he gave the Packers a lot of mileage, a lot of sacks, a lot of pressures. So Dallas trying to fix that defense. That's a pretty good acquisition to get Rashawn Gary. Pittsburgh Steelers, this is odd. Now Pittsburgh has 2 really good wide receivers, DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman, whom they got from the Colts. Don't have a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers has refused to give them a decision. Mike McCarthy, just wake up one morning and make a deal to go get a quarterback and tell Aaron Rodgers he missed the bus. So they got themselves 2 really good wide receivers, a load of tight ends, and they don't have a quarterback in Pittsburgh. So that's the Steeler headline. And in Arizona, goodbye. Arizona gets rid of Kyler Murray, eat the contract, $38 million, goes on the street. Anybody can sign him. He'll have his choice. Does he go to the Jets? Does he go to Minnesota? It's probably a 1-year deal to prove yourself and then go back on the open market for a big payday. Unless the Jets think he is the difference maker. But when you look at his record at 38-48, I'm not so sure that I buy into that. So that's where we are. Like I said, with apologies, my head is blowing off my shoulders.
It is.
My eyes are falling out of my head. There's so much information and data. 66 free agents. Most of them really marquee names, change teams in the first 3 hours. And now we just get notification, John. The 49ers have joined the party. The 49ers have just signed Tampa Bay wide receiver Mike Evans.
Oh, yeah.
That is a huge acquisition for them. That's a 1,000-yard guy guaranteed who's got a lot of mileage on him, but he's still got years left on the time. So this has been an unbelievable first couple of hours in NFL free agency. Why are you looking at me cross-eyed? I threw a lot of information at you. Now your head's about to fall off your shoulders.
No, I just it's hard to follow up you breaking down free agency. The high-speed sports wire has been pumping this morning. Man, I don't know how you're handling all this data, all this breaking news.
Yeah, and that's why I've just forewarned you. I'm going to sales pitch the crap out of my website. You need to check the best 15 minutes of sports page on my website, LeeHacksawHamilton.com, when this podcast is over, just to get the preview of free agency, and you make sure you check it tomorrow morning. Better yet, sales pitch. Better yet, join Hacksaw's Insiders Group.
There you go.
You can do that right on the homepage of my website. There's a big orange box. Get on the email list, because John and I send out 2 newsletters every day, which guarantees you'll get all this data in your inbox. So join that too. But you got to check my website today and check my website first thing Tuesday morning, because it will have easy to read, block by block, team by team, all the acquisitions. All right, so John, I'll just start with you. What do you think about Miami paying an unproven quarterback and watching Tua, telling Tua, you can leave?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about how there's no way that Malik Will's going to get $30 million. What do you got? $20 million a year. I mean, so it just goes, what's crazy is, you're freaking out about how much money is getting spent. Like, 20 million is, I guess, Zion Johnson's getting with Washington. The whole economic model just keeps getting bigger and bigger. The salary cap is over 300 million now.
Went up 22 million since the end of last season. It's at 301 million.
Holy moly. So there's more money is being paid. There's more money coming in from advertisers, from streaming, from all these other revenue sources, the sports going global. So I'm not so outraged that, Zion Johnson or a mid-tier center is getting paid more than he should. That's just the nature of the market. And it's good to see the guys getting paid. It's, the NFL, stars don't, with the exception of quarterbacks, rarely get into the same neighborhood of the stars and other sports, but now that's changing.
Management, though, is going off their mind, because the minute somebody does something absurd, like what just happened in Baltimore to the Ravens center going to the Raiders for an unforeseen amount of money, the minute there's a new high water mark for any offensive lineman, that changes the scope of you have to pay every other lineman in the league. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
But I understand this from you, because I was told that when you went to the hospital for blood test and they took the blood out, there were pictures of dollar signs in your blood. I mean, you're the ideal capitalist. Everybody should get everything all the time.
Show me the money, man. I mean, if there's a lot of money coming into the sport, you want to see the players getting paid, and this is their opportunity to cash in. So I don't have a problem with it at all. I just hope that these teams could manage their salary cap and make good decisions. I mean, but it does seem like the Raiders really overpaid.
Oh, grossly overpaid. So should I take a timeout here and just look in that direction towards the Baseball Players Association in the corner that's absolutely refusing, is going to die on the hill? They don't want a salary cap. Look at the ungodly amount of money that all these guys are getting in free agency right now. And that's vis-a-vis a salary cap and a floor to spending, where everybody's got a mandate to spend and everybody's got money to spend. Over in that corner, Baseball Players Union, you guys need to look at what's going on in the NFL and understand what they've created. You could create that too. Don't die on the hill and don't end the 2027 season. That's the end of my lecture, my sermon to the Baseball Players Association. You agree or disagree with me?
Well, that's a valid point, because, hey, Green Bay and Kansas City and Miami, they're paying money, and those are the neck of the woods where the baseball teams are really penny pinching.
Yeah. Just absolutely out of control. You want to talk about Kansas City, change your personality?
I like it. You just give Andy Reid another opportunity to kind of tinker with some of the new toys in. I could see that working out really well. It's just weird that Kenneth Walker was the Super Bowl MVP, and why wouldn't the Seahawks want to retain their hero?
I concur, except that his first group of years, he was just a rotation guy who had really never done anything and had a lot of injuries.
Well, he looked good, though.
Well, I concur.
I mean, he's Barry Sanders-ish. He
had 1,013 yards rushing regular season, and then look what he did postseason. Look what he did Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, he's got moves.
Okay. Raider Nation fixing it. How about the Rams? Rams now have Kansas City's top two cornerbacks.
Well, it's just the Rams seem to have a different calculus in their front office. Like they will deal those draft picks, man. F them draft picks, whatever it takes to build a championship. I think they got their foot on the gas pedal because Matthew Stafford is long in the tooth.
The Chargers, they bring back that old muddy water, Khalil Mack, but they say goodbye to Owe, Zion Johnson, and they sign three guys that nobody knows. We're not talking. Not one of those guys is a Pro Bowler. So
No.
Do you like or dislike or understand what Joe Ortiz is doing?
I all I know is they needed a lot of help up front, you know, and so you got to trust that his guys that are out there scouting these players, they know a hell of a lot more than me on a podcast, but they got to fix that line.
And Jerry Jones, that's a pretty good acquisition, Rashawn Gary. On top of what he did last year, even though he traded Micah Parsons away, look what he got back. He's trying to fix that defense.
Yeah. I mean, the world is better when the Cowboys are relevant, you know, and when we kind of miss them there at the top.
Do you have Aaron Rodgers' phone number in Egypt? I mean, he's playing the drama queen again.
Yeah, love me not.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's got two really good wide receivers now and no quarterback to throw the football to.
That guy's a freaking prima donna.
Oh, beyond diva.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all things NFL. We'll kind of hit the floor running. Like I said, 66 signings in 3 hours. I didn't have time to drink all the coffee I'd normally drink in the morning because I was so busy. Anyhow, you got a comment, question, answer? Fans Forum chat box is open. NFL fans, let's see what you've got to say. Go deep, go long, go now. Join us, Fans Forum chat box. We go from that. Next topic on the table, college football.
Bill Belichick in the news.
Oh, this is really interesting. It's been really quiet in Chapel Hill with the hoodie and his hot pants girlfriend. At the end of the day, a lot of erosion of support at North Carolina after that first year brought them a 4-8 record. It's been really quiet since the end of the season after they got their butt kicked all season long. Mike Lombardi, his NFL-type general manager of the North Carolina program, it's been reported he went to Saudi Arabia to meet with those people, talk about seeing if they could get PIF, Public Investment Fund money, into the North Carolina football program.
Wow.
Didn't come back with any, but he came back. Anyhow, he went public this weekend, and he attacked the media. He attacked the Chapel Hill media. He attacked the national media. He said the coverage of Bill Belichick was so wrong all season long. Said it was made up of lies, hoaxes, irrelevant attacks, unfair columns, all to discredit Belichick. I did not know that USA Today, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and all the Deep South media that covers the ACC, I did not know they were responsible for a 4-8 season. Holy cow. Lombardi just went off the deep end. Open mouth, insert foot. By the way, Belichick has now gone through 8 quarterbacks in 1+ year. The ones he ran off, the ones he recruited, who left after the first year. 8 different quarterbacks in and out of the program via the transfer portal. And, of course, add on the first lady of North Carolina football. She's just amazing. What's her name?
Jordan something.
Jordan Hudson.
Yeah.
The feud with CBS, the feud with Netflix, the feud with the local media. And according to Mike Lombardi, it's all their fault. Jeez. Shame on the national media for creating this monster that went 4-8. Just amazing. So Lombardi now acting like the shield for Belichick. God, year 2 is going to be as screwy as year 1. I thought year 1 was off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what's going on, but there's so much comedy and chaos that's visible, with Jordan Hudson on the sideline. We're looking like a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader hanging on to her man. I mean, everything about that is just insane. But it is interesting that you talk about how he was trying to woo the Saudis to be like a billionaire benefactor kind of thing.
Exactly.
And I've heard some Aztec fans talking about that with San Diego State. That's what we need. I guess every college football program wants to either, be sponsored by Emirates or have like a Phil Knight in your backyard that's going to, induce your program with a ton of cash.
It's just amazing. So now the attention is back on Chapel Hill Bill and his girlfriend, just to see what year 2 is going to be. I just don't understand this whole thing. Him going there, his philosophy. Although he did, I'll be honest with you. In retrospect, we can now look back. He did say one thing that was truthful. He says, we're going to be the NFL's 33rd team. We're going to be like an expansion team. And what happens to expansion teams in the NFL? They get beat.
Yeah, they get their brains blown out.
4-8. 4-8. 4-8.
But didn't they start off really good?
No, they lost the opening game to TCU on national TV and got smoked.
Okay, but there was a time I know that Jordan Hudson was tweeting like, "We're back, baby." I guess they had this moment of optimism.
Yeah, they beat a couple of 1AA teams.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay,
that's all things. You got a comment about North Carolina. Shame on the Union Tribune and the LA Times and all the other papers. They cause that 4-8 team in Chapel, Mike Lombardi. Got a screw loose. Just absolutely amazing. Don't you love having to cover these stories and these different angles and all these things these people say? Just amazing. Okay, we go from all things college football. Fans Forum chat box is open. Feel free. Jump on board. And if you would like to borrow my favorite phrase, I told you so, you can borrow it and then transfer it to Belichick. I told you so without Tom Brady. You're not very good, are you?
Nobody likes it. I told you so.
I know. Okay, let's move from football. Let's talk baseball.
Yeah, we got 2 weeks left to make some roster decisions.
Yeah, 2 weeks left. Baseball, Padres. Let's start there with their pitching staff. Nick Pivetta has been shut down, slowed down in the middle of spring training, arm fatigue. They're going to back him off his between-start workouts. They gave him 5 days off. He threw yesterday for the first time, just soft toss. He is of the opinion, I don't have a shoulder problem. It was just shoulder fatigue. We'll see how many more starts he makes in the last couple of weeks of spring training to get him ready for the start of the season. Michael King, very impressive. Now, his numbers in his weekend start overall in the 3 2/3 innings weren't good. His first 3 innings, that was vintage Michael King. He was really dominant. I thought he kind of ran out of gas in the 4th inning. I think he's ahead of the curve. Joe Musgrove, I think at the end of the day right now, Joe Musgrove's situation is he's searching for velocity. He's not found it yet. I mean, if you're clocked in the low 90s, 92, that's not real good. He's not had a dominant outing yet. He's going to get 2 more starts. The good part about the Joe Musgrove situation, no setbacks. He's been able to do his between start work, therapy, bullpens, no problem so far with the forearm, but he's yet to find his velocity. Walker Buehler, confirming they've changed his arm slot. His velocity has stayed fairly consistent in the 94-mile-an-hour bracket. And the other thing he revealed, he's been taking since early off-season different types of supplements and regimen that he says has really helped him. And for the first time in 2 to 3 years, no pain in his elbow. So far, so good for Walker Buehler. Now, again, he's going to be, if he makes it, he'll be the 5th starter in the rotation. Unique name, German Marquez. This has been a slow process to bring him back. But his second start, he threw 3 shutout innings. Hey. Nobody expected that. So that's real positive news. The real positive news is the guy that I am now projecting to be the number 2 guy in the rotation. And Randy Vasquez has done everything correctly. And you see his progression year to year. Wow. Randy Vasquez clocked at 97 in his last start. He's had 3 good starts in a row. So he has really elevated himself in the rotation. The other guy, the wild card guy, and again, we're going to have some injuries here, Bradley Rodriguez, 5 games, 5 shutout innings out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
It looks like that kid has arrived. And the last one is Kyle Hart. Again, came from Korea, gave up home run balls all over the place last year, relegated to the bullpen, sent to El Paso, maybe a long shot to be a guy. They're trying to evolve him as a long reliever. He just went 3 straight shutout innings. It's his 3rd straight good outing in a row. So pretty pleasing news, I think, for the Padres. Just have to hold their breath right now on the Pivetta thing and just see where Musgrove is in terms of being able to find his velocity. Wearing a damn A's hat trying to talk about the Padres. What's wrong with you?
Well, it's in general, it's, mostly positive news. You left Logan Gillespie off your list. He pitched really well yesterday, too.
Yeah, that's a career journeyman minor leaguer.
But the point is that there haven't been any disasters.
Right. It's
not like, oh, my God, Buehler blew out his arm.
And nobody got hurt.
And no one's hurt. Nothing's crazy happening. And there's a lot of ifs, ifs, ands, and buts, in these guys that he signed to minor league deals. But they're kind of like panning out for us.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. I mean, what's going on the hitting side? I mean, are there certain guys you like?
Well, Cronenworth has had a really good spring. And maybe he feels different. Maybe he's something different from a methodology with his swing and his stride. But he's done very well. But it's hard to gauge anything because all the stars are, for the most part, gone to the WBC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're putting out there a minor league roster for most of these Cactus League games now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they are.
Time will tell. My whole theory is just let Castellanos play a lot of first base or DH every game. He's got to find his stroke. He hasn't quite found it yet. I'm not sure where Miguel Andujar is right now. He hits an occasional home run. He's not hitting for average. I think those guys got to get lots of reps in every game for the final 2 weeks just to get them ready for the start of the season.
What do you think about all the good vibes with the new coaching staff? You know, they're not a bunch of old guys. They're recently have been playing Major League ball. There's a lot of trust, it seems, with Craig Stammen and the Stars. So I'm kind of wondering if this is going to work out pretty like a nice, fresh change.
Well, they are 8-8 in spring training, though. We're not dominating anybody. We're not running away with a Cactus League crown.
But it's good vibes, you know. It's not like there's some taskmaster that's in your face. You know, everyone's feeling good. And then, you know, Tatis, by the way, just hit a grand slam in the WBC. So, you know, the boys are hitting abroad. The boys are hitting in Peoria. It's just all good vibes.
I think so. I mean, I think there's a lot of positive things to see. We got 2 more weeks at Cactus League. Let's just see if they can get to the last week of March with no physical setbacks.
Yeah.
But the thing that I like more than anything else is, damn, I should have bought some of those lottery tickets 7-Eleven when I was standing next to Preller, because he bought all these lottery tickets with all these pitchers, and maybe he's going to hit the jackpot with 1 or 2, or at least buy insurance policy, guys.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, if he hits big time on Vasquez, that's going to put that whole Soto trade into a different light, you know, because if you've got King and Vasquez from that could work out well. I mean, always trust in AJ, I say.
Okay. Padre fans forum chat box is open. We go from that. Let's go to the next team that everybody's got an opinion on, all things Dodger baseball.
Show me time.
Yeah, it's strange spring training there, too, because a lot of their guys are gone in the WBC. What is weird, Kyle Tucker's playing a lot. He's hitting 200 in the spring. How is that possible? I thought this guy would.
He's like $60 million a year, isn't he?
Leave the car in the parking lot, go right to the clubhouse, put the colors on, and just start hitting. He's only hitting 200. A couple of the young guys that I think they're expecting to play multiple roles aren't hitting either. Alex Freeland, who's gotten a lot of at-bats in the infield, is only hitting 167. Dalton Rushing, who they've scrapped the idea of making him an outfielder, is going to be catcher, first baseman, is only hitting 200. The surprise is a journeyman. This guy's played a lot because of what's happened to the WBC. Santiago Espino is hitting 500. He's a guy Cincinnati had and let go. He does have a career of hitting in the minor leagues and some in the majors, hitting 500 in the spring. On the pitching front, obviously we got the injury situation here. You know, Gavin Stone is shut down. I don't know if he's going to be able to start the season. Bobby Miller's already been placed on the disabled list. Kyle Hurt has a 2.25 ERA. That's the guy that's coming off surgery. That's been pretty decent. The surprise to me is Justin Robleski, the left-hander. He's got a 0.00 ERA in 3 appearances, and now he's pitching out of the rotation. So that could be a wild card there. The mystery guy's Landon Knack. His ERA is 9.54, and he had pitched well in spurts each of the last 2 seasons. So there's a lot of mixed bag stuff. I'm just waiting for Kyle Tucker to hit, and then obviously Ohtani he's treating the WBC pitchers like it's batting practice.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, well, that's what he does here in America too. Yeah. I mean, by the way, Dodger fan, they don't care about spring training.
Okay.
We're not built for March. You know, we're built for October. That's what you're hearing in all the social media. People are still giving you crap for just reporting on who's hurt, who's hot, who's not. With the Dodgers are like, relax, Hacksaw. We're going to be fine.
Just reporting the news that is the news as of this minute on this podcast. Although I thought collectively the best comment I've heard from everybody is what Andrew Friedman said. I don't care about winning the winter baseball meetings or winning the trade deadline. We win in October. That's why Dodger fan is the way Dodger fan is.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that's the evil empire, the fans. They're just so freaking arrogant sometimes. But anyways, going back to this, you said a lot of the hitters aren't hitting, you know, like you would expect, like, you know, Kyle Tucker. But isn't it the pitchers are usually ahead of the hitters to start spring training, or is it the other way around? I was trying to remember
Now,
that.
pitchers are ahead of hitters, but this is Kyle Tucker.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was thinking. Pitchers are ahead of hitters. So you expect some guys maybe a little bit of rusty, coming out of the gate here. But yeah, I mean, how much money do you give, Kyle Tucker? You expect that guy to be like, he's going to hit bombs every time he's at the plate.
I concur. Dodger fans, feel free to join us. Are you subscribing to Andrew Friedman's theory? I do too. We go from that. There's a lot of news going on in Anaheim, and we have a lot of followers on this live stream podcast out of Orange County, John.
Yeah, Angel fans don't get enough love. So they love it when you report on the Angels. Let's bring up the big board.
A lot of front office moves. Okay, just leave that up there for a minute. 2 items on the business side of the Angel operation. John Carpino, the president, has stepped away. He's retired after 17 years as president of the Angels. 16 years without a playoff win. I don't think he was very well liked by very many people. They promoted an assistant in to replace him. The other story is the Angels have created their own TV network.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they decided at the last minute not to go under the MLB streaming umbrella that Rob Manfred has formed. They bought 50% ownership of Main Street Sports. That's the FanDuel network, that the former TV infrastructure group that defaulted on all their TV rights fee contracts. You say, why would they do that? Well, what they did was they bought 50% of Main Street in Sports, which means they hired the entire infrastructure that Main Street Sports has. That includes personnel, production crews, trucks, etc. Now they have to try to develop a TV network that'll carry Angel games. Now, that's going to be hard because the Angels are boxed in, and next door is the big boy, the Dodgers. So where are the Angels going to go to get TV stations who want to be part of their network? Not in San Diego. Well, maybe you find a station in Palm Springs. Vegas? I don't know about that.
Yeah, they will. There's Angel fans all over the place.
But at what price? Because now they've taken on all the costs to run Main Street Sports. And what kind of revenue are you going to generate? Unless there's some vision that Artie Moreno has long-term that this thing is going to grow. So those are 2 business stories off the side involving the Angels. On the field, they signed 25 free agents in the offseason. And the 2 words I used in the conversation as we tracked this all winter long, difference makers. Any of these guys difference makers?
No.
Well, look where they are right now. Grayson Rodriguez has had 3 starts, and he just does not look like the pitcher the Orioles had the first year and a half of his career. His ERA is almost at 8. Alex Manoah had 1 good start, has had 2 bad starts since then. High ERA for the ex-Toronto Blue Jay. Drew Pomeranz in his role as a closer or maybe a setup reliever. His ERA is 6. That's not good. Brent Suter came from Cincinnati. Setup guy, left-hander, not a good number. Kirby Yates has had 1 bad outing. He's had 2 good outings. That's a 1 inning per outing guy. So far, so good. On the right side of the column, MONCADA, third baseman. What do we got? Not hitting. Doesn't play the position very well defensively. Yeah. Jose Siri, ex-Yankee, Met, Tampa. He's batting $141, which is better than he hit last year when he hit 101 in the major leagues. Jeez. Josh Lowe came from Tampa, but he's hurt. He's only hitting 143. Trey Mancini, $133. He's a shell of what he was before. And Vaughn Grissom, the very high draft pick, Atlanta, Boston Red Sox. He's gotten a lot of at-bats at second base. He's only hitting 237. So those are the names of the 25 guys that they signed. You see any difference makers there?
No, not at all. I mean, these are like nice guys. They plug some holes, but they're not going to win you a championship. And by the way, it's interesting. Just watching, in one of the Padres broadcasts, who's the Jesse Agler was talking about all the lows and lows and in the MLB, and there's like some that are brothers and they pronounce them all different ways. Yep. And here we got one on the list here with the Angels. But yeah, I look at this list. I'm like, that's not going to move the needle.
Well, I had hoped because I had followed Rodriguez when he first broke in. His first year and a half in Baltimore, he was dominant. And I knew what MANOAH did up in Toronto for about a year and a half. And he's just gone so far off the track in terms of control, throwing strikes. I had hoped that those two guys at the top of that board would be difference makers in that rotation. So far, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's just from a player perspective, it's nothing impressive. But I want to go back and talk about this TV deal.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I mean, that if Artie Moreno, Mr. Marketeer, is a billboard guy, right? So if maybe he's thinking he can cook up some kind of a TV package and he's going to generate more revenue than he can get in that, sort of co-opted MLB package. It's sneaky smart in a way. I just wonder if it's like too soon. You don't have a quality product on the field. You should focus there first. It's like a little bit of the cart before the horse.
I'll give a prime example. You're going to try to sell your rights to a TV station in a market that doesn't have a franchise. You go into Honolulu, right?
Mm-hmm.
Angels. Here come the Dodgers. Well, if I'm the general manager of a TV station in Honolulu, which team am I going to sign up with?
Well, yeah, but I mean, one local station is going to get the Dodgers, but
the other one probably the other stations probably won't want to take baseball.
But no, the other stations want to get in on it because Major League Baseball is hot, especially through the WBC. It's a global sport. I don't know. I just think this could be sneaky smart. There's a glimmer I can see of maybe Artie Moreno's brain cooking.
There's something there that would hit his light switch and say, I can make this work. I don't see it right now. There's something I don't understand about that, but we'll see where it goes. I mean, I was floored because I'd been told that, they're going and forming under the Manfred umbrella. But then all of a sudden, Atlanta decided they weren't going with Manfred. They're going to form their own network. But they have the infrastructure and the history of the old TBS network, which is the whole Deep South. And Atlanta Braves baseball is big in northern Florida. Atlanta Braves baseball is freaking big in Mississippi and Alabama and into Tennessee. So they have a regionalism with a lot of experience. The Angels got 99 lost seasons here and no real big tradition. No.
Yeah, but there's an angle here. So, like for example, like right now, one of my complaints with the MLB package where we watch with the Padres is that there's no pregame, postgame. But when the Padres had control of their own studio, they had wonderful pregame, postgames, feature stories on players, the top 10 moments in Padre history. I mean, the Angels could do that sort of thing,
except that is expense driven. That's a lot more people and a lot more hours.
Well, of course it is. It's people and hours. I get you there, but my point is that everyone's hungry for content, and this is a way that he can build loyalty and tell a refreshing story about the Angels and what makes them special and the guys they have. It's like I'm saying, it's a sneaky smart way to reach an audience that's feeling unserved. And at the same time, maybe being really innovative and trying something that's going to blow us away. I don't know. There's something here.
I don't know how you convince the general manager of the station in Honolulu that I own the Angels. We've lost 99 games. We haven't been in the playoffs in 14 years.
No, they'll still get people. They still want to watch the ball
okay.
game. Yeah.
Interesting. You're an Angel fan. Feel free. Jump on board. We'll talk about, they have any difference makers? And what's your reaction to Carpino exiting and this new Angel TV network deal? By the way, the Angels are linked with the LA Kings. The Kings are also part of this TV network.
Okay. There you go. That makes it even more interesting.
They're co-sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another non-playoff team.
By the way, when TBS was hot in the 80s on cable, and that was like a big thing to see.
That and GN.
Yeah.
Out of Chicago.
Those two. But in the 80s, both those teams sucked. I mean, well, the Cubs made the playoffs that one year, but the Braves weren't that great. But yet, they had a huge loyal audience.
First one through the door.
Yeah, but still, I'm saying, I think Artie might be onto something.
Okay, we'll just continue to track it, pay attention. There's some pieces of this equation that we don't quite understand yet. Last baseball topic before we get to halftime. Man, there's some controversy.
Yeah, we do. We got some baseball notebook. Okay, well, back to the Braves.
Let's talk about the Jurickson Profar thing. Tell you what, there's some fallout now because of Profar's second suspension and maybe potentially the end of his career. The union is trying to intervene. The union is going to file a grievance that the Atlanta Braves don't have the right to release Profar from the final year of his contract next year that's worth $15 million, even though Profar just got himself suspended for this calendar year. A lot of people don't agree with that. They say this guy violated the collective bargaining agreement on drugs for the second time in 2 years. He doesn't have the right to say, you still owe me my third year of my contract. That's an issue. Justin Verlander, who's been really deeply involved with the Players Association, says players suspended should not have the right to play in any game while they're trying to appeal their suspension, and he doesn't think a guy's been suspended should be paid during the course of the appeal. And Miles Mikolas of the St. Louis Cardinals says the union is wrong. Profar violated the agreement we all have to live by and subscribe to. He violated it twice, and a union should not be spending its resources defending this guy going forward. Ouch. So that's the big story in Atlanta. We've talked about pitching injuries. New York Yankees this weekend confirmed they have banned one of their young starting pitchers, Clark Schmidt, who's had elbow problems off and on. They've banned him from throwing the sweeper. They say that's the trigger point for all the problems he's had with his forearm, the elbow, ligament, and bone chips. He doesn't know if he could be a major league pitcher without the sweeper. Interesting. And, of course, you got the WBC. Great game. USA, Mexico. Tell you what, you watch any of the WBC Mexico games, and I don't speak Spanish, but I've watched it on their network. God, it's like the Mardi Gras. I mean, it's like soccer crowd has gone to see baseball games.
Isn't that great?
It is so electric, and the players are having such a kick. And by the way, Mexico, El Tri, wearing the colors, that's Paul Skeens out there. Dude throws 101 miles an hour. Good luck with that. Japan won their group play over the weekend. Ohtani is just abusing the pitchers in the WBC. He's hitting these monster shots. But at the end of the day, when you got Soto and you got Machado and you got Tatis, who the hell are you going to pitch around in the Dominican Republic batting order? We could just fast forward, just have Team USA go ahead and play in the World Baseball Classic Championship game. It's going to be fun. But boy, the fans are just turning out in droves in Tokyo where you expected it for the qualifying games. I watched the crowds in Houston. They were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now, pro USA, man, they screeched USA, USA. But when Team Mexico's playing, oh, what a party.
Well, see, that's the magic formula on how to do these all-star games is you make it by nation. And then, I mean, that's when you're talking the real deal, right?
Open the gates, let them come in.
Yeah. And people, man, they're loyal to their nation. So it's great. I mean, this is great for the sport, national stage, the whole thing. Let's go back to Profar for a minute. My hunch would be that would be very clearly spelled out in his contract. I don't know if it's a moral clause or if it's an addendum in the standard CBA agreement that if you get busted for drugs, you don't get paid or you forfeit your contract. That should be clearly spelled out one way or the other.
Union says no.
That just seems like.
Union says third year has nothing to do with what he just did to himself and to the Braves in the second year.
Well, okay, that's fair because it's a 3-year deal and he's been suspended for year 2. Well, then year 3, he's still signed to that.
But where's the morals clause come in?
Well, that's the question is how is the morals clause spelled out? So this is something that the lawyers will sort out, but you would expect this would have been, figured out. It's part of the standard language, I would think. I mean, people get busted on juice, in the pros now. It's got to be clearly spelled out. And then, by the way, Verlander's wrong. If he was saying you need to wait. If you were appealing, he thinks you should not be playing and not be paid.
Exactly.
And that's like guilty until proven innocent. I mean, if you are legitimately innocent, you shouldn't have your livelihood taken away from you, not until you're proven guilty.
Okay. Do you have the phone number for Judge Judy? We'll just call him.
Yeah, she'll help us sort it out.
Hey, listen, you got an opinion about what you just heard in that segment? Feel free to join us. Fans Forum chat box is open.
Question. So Clark Schmidt, the sweeper, is the thing. Now, help me out here. We used to always say the slider, or the slurve or these. Now it's the sweeper, but it's still the same pitch, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's the way you hold the ball like this. We need Mark Grant in here
we do.
to do that. It's the way you hold the ball, which then creates, if you spread your fingers further, it creates tension down here. And then you throw it a whip action with more velocity. The wear and tear, the explosiveness here is much more severe.
Sports science with hacksaw.
I did not cut class that one day.
Yeah, let's break it down.
Okay. Hey, listen, we are at halftime. This podcast is brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. You got projects, they got materials. You need ideas, they can be your best friend. Talk about the different stores that DIXIELINE has and I call it the home display center over in Solana Beach. How does that work? Just describe what DIXIELINE offers.
Okay, well, you're talking about the design center, or the design studio,
right?
Excuse me, which is a kind of a high-end boutique showroom for kitchen, bath, doors, windows. A lot of, if you're really gonna go all in, for a 5-star kind of a bathroom remodel, kitchen remodel, that's where you want to go. But all the stores throughout San Diego County, they have retail stores there where they sell power tools, they sell electrical supplies, all kinds of building materials are all available in the stores. Every one of the stores has a lumber yard, and pretty much every one of them is a drive-through lumber yard where they'll load you up and get you set up. So they appeal to the builder, to the contractor, and to the homeowner. But by the way, Lee, if you're one of the builders, like one of these big boys that goes and builds like 200 homes in a tract at a time, DIXIELINE got a whole separate kind of part of their business where they have like these lumber yards. They're now under the brand name Builders First Source. But these are like these huge commercial lumber yards that load up flatbed semi after flatbed semi with lumber, building materials, trusses for home building. DIXIELINE's behind a lot of that as well, sometimes under the DIXIELINE name, sometimes under their parent company, Builders First Source.
You got projects, they got materials. Quickest recommendation, go to the website, DIXIELINE.com. See all the things that they have to offer. We are at halftime, our Monday bonus podcast. Just a reminder, when we're done with this podcast, because we do sports talk the way it should be done, a lot of topics on the table, lots of opinions, you're going to take over this podcast. It's called Fans Forum. John, for everybody that's new on the live stream, or those who watch it later, they could still get us questions. Just talk about the different layers of how Fans Forum works.
Pick a topic, pick up the phone. We got all these guys here. It's great to see everybody here. Sports fan. Hey, there's Dan. I don't remember seeing Dan in the live chat before. But hey, there's Mike and Casey and Callan, a lot of our old friends too. We'll get you all involved in Fans Forum. Just drop your hot take in the live chat on Facebook, on X, or on YouTube. We'll get you involved. And actually, you're spanning the high-speed sports wire for more NFL free agents.
It's just absolutely amazing.
It's still blowing up.
Yeah, trying to. But anyhow, you like sports? I write about sports every day of the week. It's on my website, LeeHacksawHamilton.com. For a preview of NFL free agency today, go to today's website. The best 15-minute page, give you just volumes of information. Tomorrow, check it first thing in the morning. It's there early morning. Best 15 minutes will be a recap of day one of free agency. Like I said, there were 66 free agent signings in the first 3 hours in 6 different trades. So I have an analysis of all that. So the website, LeeHacksawHamilton.com. Better yet, get on the mailing list. Just become part of Hacksaw's Insiders Group. Just fill out the orange box. We send out 2 newsletters a day for all the football fans, guaranteed to be in your inbox. Another way to join us. Want you to share, tell everybody what we do Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. Want you to subscribe. The minute you subscribe, you will get the alerts every time we put additional videos up on my YouTube channel. And John and I do that a lot during the course of the week. You can help us grow this thing. We're over 10,000 subscribers on this podcast. Become part of the team, would you? Give us a thumbs up, hit the follow button, give us a 5-star rating. We got it covered. Follow me on social media. Agree or disagree? Damn, I don't care. Follow me on social media on Twitter. Just type in my name, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. Hit the follow button. I got it covered. You ready?
You do have it covered. Okay. Here we're going to talk some college basketball.
Yeah, let's go now.
Okay, let's talk about these Aztecs, kind of streaky league.
Let's go from regular season, which was a roller coaster, to postseason. Conference play begins. As screwy as San Diego State's basketball season was, they finished second in the Mountain West Conference, and they wound up being slotted second in the Mountain West Conference tourney. They're 20-10, and we're talking like it's the end of the world. But it's been the end of the world because they're only 3-10 against the elite teams they've played this season. Yeah. So Aztecs will play the survivor of a Colorado State, Fresno State play-in game, and then they'll have to play the big boys if they get to the second round. The shootout with Nevada, Las Vegas Friday night, BJ no longer MIA. What a performance by BJ Davis. 30-point outburst. Reese Waters bounced back from a crummy game, hit 4 really critical free throws at the end of the game. First half of that Friday night game, fireworks. No place for the timid. They were exchanging baskets in the second half. I'll tell you, I give Vegas a lot of credit for resiliency because I thought they were on the brink of getting blown out, and they kept coming back. So now the Aztecs go to the Mountain West Conference tourney, which I think is wide open. It has been schizo what's happened in the last 3 weeks in the Mountain West Conference tournament. Stretches of time where Utah State's unbeatable, and then they get beat. Stretches of time and you say, New Mexico, it's all going to catch up to them, and they keep on winning. And then stretches of time where Boise can be dangerous and not dangerous. And the wild card in this whole thing is which Grand Canyon team shows up. And then you add the Aztecs. That's 5 really good conference basketball teams. The point being, unfortunately, this probably is going to be a one-bid conference. Whoever wins in Vegas at the conference tournament, because I don't see any of these other teams getting in because they've been so skittish. I guess the burning question I have for you, does the neutral floor make a difference with this San Diego State group? Because when they've gone on the road into the hostile environments, they have gotten their brains beat in. They've never played a complete game. But does going to Vegas, a neutral floor where a bunch of zombies wearing red and black like you painting your faces, they'll show up, and maybe it's going to be different. But boy, so many upsets in the last 3 weeks in a conference. How is this possible? Go ahead.
It is crazy. I mean, but you know what? The Thomas and Mack is Viejas East, man. The Aztecs dominate there, even in the postseason. So it's going to be great. I mean, they're going to do really well. I'm confident that they're going to definitely get beyond the first round. They're going to beat the play-in game. Well, they don't really play the play-in game. They get to bye the first round, but their second round game will be fine. The test will be New Mexico in the semi, and then whoever comes to the other side, whether it's Utah State or Grand Canyon, will probably come out from the other part of the bracket. But that game on Friday was bananas. Yeah. I mean, the Aztecs, they were scoring left and right, but their defense, it's just not the same.
It's not the same group of kids.
Well, and it's just not the same. We're seeing a team here that has not been able to execute to the Dutcher standard, of what we expect from this team defensively, because there used to be a time where the Aztecs would hold the other team to very low percentage 3-point shooting. But lately, these teams are just lighting the Aztecs up. They just can't miss from 3.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Couple of other notes as college basketball. I was aghast. San Diego State's Lady Aztecs have had a hell of a season. Now, they don't get a lot of coverage. There's not a lot of notoriety, but what Stacey Terry Houston has done, they were 25-4. They won the Mountain West Conference regular season race. They went in to play a 14-17 Air Force team yesterday, and they got beat.
Yeah.
I could not believe they got beat. Top seed Wiltz. Mill Perry had 33. Emily Adams had 20. Lady Aztecs fell behind and just never could catch up and take control of the game. Gave up runs of 8-0 and 10-0 in the second half to the Falcons. And get this, to their 25-5, they may not get even invited to March Madness on the ladies' side, which to me that's unfair. Do they play a national schedule? No. Are they really good regionally? Yes. But my God, to get beat by Air Force, which was in last place, that's hard to believe.
Yeah, that's like it was a 9 beating a 1, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a tough one. When I heard the news on that, I was like, what? You know,
Yeah.
they had such a hell of a season.
Didn't play defense.
It's something in the drinking water at Montezuma Mesa. What happened to the defense?
Exactly. And speaking of that, UCLA, Lady Bruins win their 25th in a row.
Wow.
They went into Iowa in the Big Ten Conference tournament for women. They beat Iowa in the championship game by 51. By 51 in the championship game.
Wow.
Hey, McCronin, take that. And they're ranked second in the country. UCLA's Lady Bruins with Lauren Betts, 31-1.
She's the post player, right?
Yep.
Yeah, she's a hell of good.
Second in the country in the ratings only because UConn is 33-0.
Wow.
So
I mean, could we be seeing like a kind of a flip in history? We had the Wizard of Westwood, and it was men's basketball, and it's just like the women's era.
They put together back-to-back really unbelievable seasons.
Yeah.
And the last topic as it relates to college basketball, your guy, Mick Cronin. So UCLA goes into USC, the final regular season game, and just beats the crap out of Musselman's Trojans. I mean, beat them by 21.
Let me get the graphic up for you.
And they bust in, the men of Westwood paid for like 9 buses of students from UCLA's campus to go to the Galen Center. And they just overwhelmed the entire Galen Center with blue and gold.
Good.
And so Mick Cronin, he's running up the score on Eric Musselman, and Musselman's team has just collapsed. They lose 7 in a row. Last year, they were 2-8 down the stretch. He's got questionable citizens on his roster, and that's just the way Musselman has done his business. So they wrap the game up. And here's Cronin running up and down the floor after the handshake line to the UCLA fans who are going crazy on the Trojans floor.
Yeah.
Just absolutely.
But that's the kind of shtick that Musselman usually does when he wins on the road. But I love to see it. I mean, it's all about the rivalry here. But I mean, Musselman, he lost Chad Baker-Mazar. That was his top scorer.
Yeah, and of course he did not have Arenas for the first half of the season because of the auto accident and the knee injury. But he's recruited some really questionable characters. And your booster group is led by Gilbert Arenas, jackass, going on social media saying unbelievably stupid things about the program. Nothing but 2 years of turmoil on that basketball program and that basketball roster. I just really wonder if Eric Musselman committed career suicide by taking the Southern Cal basketball job, because nobody cares in LA about USC basketball. And this guy had built something at Arkansas and won a whole bunch of other places. You know, he came out here.
Well, I'm not saying Musselman's George Raveling, but George Raveling had like a pretty solid reputation for an extended period of time. You'd hope that USC basketball would be great, but my hunch was that Musselman probably saw this as a step up from Arkansas, and he's a SoCal guy, and he was obviously got paid a lot. So I don't know. It's you're right. I mean, UCLA is the dominant college basketball program. I don't care what year it is. They're always going to have those 11 championship banners. SC doesn't have a candle to stand on. What about Snoop Dogg? Where Snoop Dogg shows up for the football games for the Trojans, does he come out to the basketball games? Maybe he could be like that billionaire benefactor to USC.
You want Snoop Dogg to become the Trojan mascot.
Or one of those, celebrity hype guys like what he did in the Olympics. Okay.
Tell you what, they got a problem over Southern Cal with the basketball program and its identity. They really do right now. And Cronin to be running up and down that floor and inviting the UCLA fans to storm the floor at Southern Cal.
Well, all right. Okay, that's a little much, but I just love the rivalry. Just keep it going. Fan the flames.
Okay. You're a college basketball fan. Aztecs, Lady Aztecs, Lady Bruins, and then you talk about UCLA, Southern Cal. If you like, Fans Forum chat box is open for business. We move on. Let's talk a little NBA basketball.
Yeah, who the hell are these guys, Lakers and Clippers?
Let's just talk about this. Lakers, they blitzed the New York Knicks on Sunday. This New York Knicks team's pretty good. Lakers, I did not realize this till I went back and dug into the standings and the schedule. The Lakers are only 2-8 against the top teams in the league this season. You know, thank goodness Washington Wizards and Sacramento and Portland and Atlanta are in the league. But boy, the Lakers showed up yesterday and they just blitzed the Knicks. Luka had 35. Austin Reeves had 25. Rui Hachimura is on a real heater right now in terms of hitting three-point shots. Marcus Smart's playing a key role defense. And they won without LeBron, and they won because DeAndre Ayton is out and hurt again. Although I'll tell you what, yesterday's, that Sunday game with the Knicks and the Lakers, they spent all four quarters going up and down the floor whining with the refs. They were bitching at the refs after every trip up and down the floor. It was nonstop. Come on. But I will say this, Luka's conditioning, he's racking up so many minutes, and he's playing so hard. And Luka's all about shots. I understand that. But Luka's pinpoint passes this year are better than I've seen in a long time. Still doesn't play very much at the other end of the floor. So, I don't know, should we be impressed by the Lakers being 39-25? Or don't we really know? Because once we get to the end of the regular season, there won't be any Sacramento Kings or Washington Wizards to play.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, that's the Laker story. I guess, do you believe in them? Laker fan, feel free to join us on the chat box. Clippers, what a hell of a job by Tyronn Lue. These guys were 6-21 out of the gate, and since then, they're 25-11. And they're a bunch of that 25-11 by the Clippers has been done since they traded away James Harden and Ivica Zubac and CP3. They're doing it with Kawhi Leonard and a bunch of guys who, I mean, it's pretty impressive. And what a coaching job by Lue to pull this thing back together after these trades. And Kawhi's physically held up. He's playing a lot of minutes, and he has not had any setbacks really with the knee. So, my burning question to you, who are these guys, the Lakers? Are you really impressed? And secondly, you impressed with what Lue has done with the Clippers? He's got the Clippers almost back to 500 from 6-21.
Yeah, Tyronn Lue, he just doesn't seem like a really aggressive guy. You know, he's just a very well-maintained, well-managed dude. But he must have some kind of, I don't know, just the chemistry he creates in the clubhouse. I don't know what it is.
It's the persona of intellect in that locker room.
Yeah, dude deserves respect. I mean, he's had a career. But I'm just thinking more about the Lakers. You just said that they won without LeBron. And I'm just wondering, you know, are the Lakers a better team with LeBron or without LeBron?
I don't know. LeBron's still one of the greatest of all time. Would you not want him part of the equation in postseason? Because come postseason, pal, we're not playing the Sacramento Kings anymore.
No, well, I know. But, I mean, they win without him. You know, just maybe does the ball move better without a ball hog that's always thinks every play is about him.
Interesting. Okay. Lakers fans, Clippers fans, there's space for you. Fans Forum chat box is open. Next topic involves the commissioner of the NBA.
Yeah, Adam Silver. I mean, he's got a lot of business here for tanking. They have some solutions, Lee?
Well, 2 weeks ago, he held press conferences wrapped around the All-Star festivities and said, we're going to address this and we're going to be very aggressive addressing tanking. He put out a survey that he sent to every general manager in the league of all 30 teams. And he got the response back, and these are some of the things that the survey responses contained. Weighted lottery. Get rid of the weighted lottery, which would give, bonus ping pong balls to the teams with the worst record. Remove the weighted lottery. Every non-playoff team gets one ping pong ball. That's my solution. Everybody's on an even Steven basis, so don't tank, because tanking's not fair to the season ticket holder. It's not fair to your media partners. Another one, end the lottery completely, John. You'll just pick based where you are in the standings.
Well, that's going to be a tank fest.
Well, it might be a tank fest, but would it be good or bad for basketball if the Oklahoma City Thunder or San Antonio Spurs got the number one pick because it was everybody depended by standings? And in the third one, it's called an every man lottery. And again, these are ideas all from the general managers, and they mailed the survey back to Adam Silver. The every man lottery, every team gets one ping pong ball. And even teams that had made trades, if they have multiple first round picks, they'll get the additional first round picks ping pong balls. But is it good for the NBA if San Antonio and Oklahoma City, by virtue of having a pick, get the number one pick in the draft?
Yeah.
Rather than the Sacramento Kings or Washington Wizards, etc. Because the draft was supposed to help the really bad teams get more competitive. So anyhow, those are the three primary responses that Adam Silver got by the general managers. Which one would you vote for?
Well, I just like the idea of one ping pong ball. I mean, I think that makes sense because the whole point of the lottery system was to prevent tanking, right? I mean, that's the whole reason they have ping pong balls, or they have frozen envelopes with Patrick Ewing's name in it. You know, it's to prevent the tanking. And when you have one ping pong ball each for all the non-playoff teams, that works. But when you started kind of changing the probabilities and making it so the worst team was going to have the highest chance for the first pick, that might sound right, but that's what's causing more tanking. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, you give them all one ping pong ball each, all the non-playoff teams, and those picks could be fully tradable. And it's not unlike in the NFL, where you get one of the better teams that's going to have one of the top picks because they made a really good trade. To me, that's reasonable and fair.
Okay. You're a basketball fan. You got an opinion with tanking? Do you like any of the ideas these general managers just gave back to Adam Silver? Feel free to join us. Fans Forum chat box is open for business. We go from that, all things hockey. Wow.
Look at NFL free agency, NHL trades. Oh, my God.
33 trades made at the NHL trading deadline. Not a record, but there was a bunch of guys that did not get traded. We'll talk about that in a second. Colorado. They needed chemistry. They got chemistry. They traded for Calgary's Nazem Kadri, their feisty center iceman, and they got a really good defensive center iceman and a faceoff guy, and Nicholas Roy. He came from Toronto. The Avalanche won at the trade deadline. I love what the Ducks did. John Carlson, great anchor, veteran defenseman, Washington Capitals. They got him. But it was pricey. They traded a number one pick for a 36-year-old defenseman. But this guy is quality. This guy is classy. Washington players were upset that John Carlson was traded away. Edmonton Oilers addressed a lot of different things, but not maybe the biggest part. They traded for defenseman Connor Murphy, and they went out and they got two checking forwards, Jason Dickinson, Colton Dotch, both from the Chicago Blackhawks. Minnesota just keeps adding. Now, this is a team that traded for Quinn Hughes weeks ago. They went out and got Nick Foligno. They got young center iceman Bobby Brink from Philadelphia. Veteran defenseman Jeff Petrie came, and Mike McCarron, a faceoff and defensive specialist. So Minnesota's added to the equation. Detroit got a really good defenseman in Justin Falk. The Kings, who have been wrecked by injuries, they got a veteran who can score. Scott Lawton came from the Toronto Maple Leafs, but it's like the Kings gave up. They did not make another significant deal to go get another sniper. And Tampa Bay is bringing back Corey Perry, the ex-Duck, the ex-King, the guy that's become a playoff specialist, what he did in Edmonton the last couple of years. Tampa Bay just traded to bring Corey Perry back. Now, at the end of the day, 33 trades is a lot of movement. At the end of the day, the Blues did not move their leading scorer, Robert Thomas, nor their goaltender, Jordan Bennington. The Rangers are stuck with players in contracts. I would have bet they would have traded Vincent Trocheck. They did not. Oilers made all these deals. They still haven't solved the goalie problem because Tristan Jarry's goals against average is 846, which is horrible for a starting goaltender on the brink of going to the playoffs. So they are no better in Edmonton with Tristan Jarry than they were with Stuart Skinner. Vancouver, they've wrecked the franchise, and yet they have the $11 million man who doesn't score goals. They did not trade Elias Pettersson. Montreal still got Patrick Laney, a high-scoring Scandinavian that doesn't fit. They were trying to move him. He's always hurt. Florida, I don't know what's going to happen because Sergei Bobrovsky's going on the open market as an unrestricted free agent this summer. They were trying to trade the rights to the veteran goaltender to get something in return. So anyhow, unbelievable. 33 trades in all. I know it's kind of a foreign language to you, but those of us who follow all things hockey, we know what we know. And Colorado is just really good. And now they get 2 chemistry guys. I'd love to have Nazem Kadri on my team.
This is amazing. I mean, we just went through the NFL trades and free agents in minutia. We went through baseball and depth charts, and now we're talking NHL trades. There's been a plethora of trades, and you're taking notes on all this stuff, typing stories, writing one man's opinion column. Do you ever get a chance to sit down and like have a nice dinner with Mrs. Hacksaw? You must be pounding on that keyboard all night.
Yeah, we do have sub sandwiches. You know why my eyes are bloodshot sometimes.
That's unbelievable. I mean,
I'm not going to apologize for being bleeping brilliant.
Yeah, I know. I love your OCD on this because it's really good for us as sports fans.
Okay. You're a hockey fan. Hockey Hotline is open. The old Canada Network. Where have you been? Jump back in here. Oh, give me your reaction to the marquee trades in the National Hockey League. Final segment off the Sports Wire. Late breaking stories, John.
Yeah, San Diego FC keeps on winning.
1-0 win on the road in Kansas City. 1-0 win, thank you, Anders Dreyer. Another goal. 1-0 win with the rookie 19-year-old goaltender Duran Ferree, his 3rd shutout in a row. The SDFC is kind of unique. They got 3 goaltenders now on the active roster. 2 of them can probably play immediately. The third one, CJ Dos Ramos, I'm not sure is quite ready. They are now 3-0 on the season, and they are just relentless. What a franchise. What a structure. What a system that Mikey Veras runs. That's pretty impressive, 3-0 out of the gate. Auto racing, Formula One. They started on Sunday, the Australian Grand Prix. Am I allowed to use the word ballsy on this podcast? Yeah, I'll tell you what. G-rated. The guys up front, George Russell and Charles Leclerc, on a tight road course in Australia, passed each other 6 times in the first 9 laps. Dart, dash, on the corner, on the straightaway. Holy cow. And then Russell ran away from the field. He was a pole sitter. But he and Leclerc were darting and dashing to start the first 9 laps. I mean, it was really dangerous stuff. And then Russell, just ballsy, took off once he got the lead. Kimi Antonelli finished 2nd. Leclerc wound up 3rd. Lewis Hamilton, despite the ongoing problems with Mercedes, I don't understand how you can have a great team like Mercedes in its history and tradition, have a great driver, and still have continued problems, pit stops, and the structure of that. They had more pit stop problems. Hamilton, though, did recover, wound up 4th. Lando Norris, last year's points champion, nothing worked. And he's been really unhappy with all the things that he has to do in the cockpit of the car. He finished 5th, 51 seconds behind the leader.
Wow.
Max Verstappen. Now, he crashed on Saturday during time trials, John. He had to start 20th. And he talk about being ballsy. He finished 6th. You know how many dangerous passes you have to make on a road course to go from 20th to 6th? He did. At the back of the pack, this is a disaster. Aston Martin, that brand new team with all the money, the bad engines, the vibrations, the drivers who are complaining that they have nerve damage in their hands because of the vibrations, they finished 15 laps behind. I mean, that's just a disaster.
15 laps?
15 laps, because their cars were in the pits for extended periods of time to get repairs. Team Cadillac knew it was going to be hard. Their drivers finished 16th and 19th, not competitive at all. And then bizarre. If all the stuff I've given you isn't enough, Oscar Piastri, who is the teammate of George Russell, he crashed waiting to get on the grid. He was driving, trying to get his tires warmed up to pull up to the grid where you stop and you start and wait for the lights to change.
Yeah.
And you go. So he's doing this. He crashed into the wall.
That happened in the Indy 500 this year or last year, didn't it?
Yeah. So
yeah, that's crazy.
I mean,
the race hasn't even started yet.
And I mean, it's all a powerful car. He's trying to get these tires warmed up.
Yeah.
And he's doing this and this, and all of a sudden he's over there, and he's wrecked the front end of his car before he never got to the starting grid.
Yeah, exactly.
Just amazing. So that's what happened in Formula One. Am I the only Formula One fan out there? I'm looking for somebody with F1 background. Join us in Fans Forum chat box. NASCAR, Ryan Blaney chased the leaders all day long in Phoenix, made a bold move through running 3 wide with 10 laps to go, outran Christian Bell to win the Phoenix 250, snapped Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick ran up front, but that was a 3-race win streak that Tyler Reddick and Michael Jordan's team had. Snapped it. Reddick finished a little farther back in the pack. So we got soccer. We got F1 and FU if you don't want to talk about it, and NASCAR. Go ahead.
Don't you just love San Diego FC, man? I mean, they had the Cinderella season last year, and they're already 3-0, and they're just looking dominant. And just hope Anders Dreyer sticks around town for a while.
Well, they signed him to a contract extension, so he'll stay in.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, it's just all good vibes with them. But these F1 drivers, man, a bunch of friggin' like Mariah Carey divas, always whining about something.
But they're pretty brassy.
Well, they are. Yeah, I'll give them that. I was watching this thing. I don't know if it was a video on social media or it was on TV, and they had what looked like NASCARs on an F1 track. And then they let the NASCAR or the stock cars go, and then they had the F1 driver chasing them, and so you could really see the difference between F1 and NASCAR and the nimbleness of the way those F1 cars are designed, for the aerodynamics and the hugging the ground, and it was extraordinarily evident when they put it side by side with a quote regular car.
I'll tell you one thing that really bothers me, and I wonder if this is going to come back to haunt Formula One. We were spoiled by the Netflix documentary, right? And we had access to network to F1 on ESPN. They are now on Apple. You have to subscribe to watch F1. They're off American TV unless you're a subscriber, and that's too bad.
Show me the money.
Exactly. So that's where we are with that one. Just amazing. And by the way, SDFC, doesn't look like they missed Chucky Lozano, do they?
No, not at all. Didn't skip a beat.
And what's he doing?
I know, that's weird.
They don't want him, and he won't approve sales of a contract to another. What are you doing to your career?
Yeah, it's dumb. The whole thing's dumb.
Okay, that's where we are. Those are hot topics on the table because we do sports talk on this podcast the way it should be done. Lots of diverse topics. Hope we've hit your hot button. Now it's your turn to take over this podcast because the Fans Forum chat box is open for business. And a reminder, this podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. Lots of locations to serve you. Go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things they have to offer. John, this segment belongs to you. It's your fault if they don't like it. Go ahead. Let's bring these people on board who want to co-host with us.
Every time you say lots of locations to serve you, I always think of you saying everybody into the pattern.
Oh, that's true, too. And that worked also very well.
That did. Okay, let's kick it off with our friend Music to My Ears. Thank you for the donation. And he's got a question about the Padres. He says, how many other Padres are juicing in 23 and 2024?
Nobody. I mean, outside of the Tatis situation, nobody at the major league level. And these guys get tested. They get random tested. They do get tested spring training, but they get random tested during the course of the year. And as I've explained to other people, if you test once positive, not only to get disciplined, you are then on call. We tested 11 times a year, and you can get tested anytime. You can get a phone call at Monday opening day. Come take a drug test. And they can call you back on Wednesday of the first week of the season. Or they could call you on the third week of July to be tested. And if you miss a test, that's viewed as a check mark positive, which means you're going to get disciplined again. So, if once you have a positive test, you're tested at least 11 times per year on call.
Yeah, as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes you wonder, like, how much juicing is still going on that's undetected. That they've got, these ball players, there's tens of millions of dollars at stake here. And if they could find some, chemist, like a Walter White that's going to cook up this new potion to give him super strength that can't be caught in a test. Some of these guys are going to go for it.
There's too much to lose. Why would you do that?
Well, because there's a lot to win.
Why would you think you could beat the system?
Well, you can't. And I think that's the whole thing, is Profar proved that.
Now, the problem is minor league baseball that's a whole different atmosphere. And it's a really good question. But the minor league baseball, you've got the kids coming from so many diverse cultures. They're all really young. They got people knocking at their door with their hand out. They got their posse, their family. Some of them are supporting them. And these kids, the education level of a lot of these kids is a lot lower than the major league ball player with the experience of life. And that's why the preponderance of the kids in the minor leagues that are getting suspended, and it's still happening, they're all Caribbean, Latin American players.
Yeah.
And that goes back to where they're from, the fact there's everybody on every street corner selling black market stuff, and these kids are not highly educated. So they're making bad decisions, or they have posse that they're running with because they've been their friends their whole time. That makes sense?
Yeah, you've always talked about the posse. That's been the scourge of every athlete. But I'll say this, is Fernando Tatis Jr. set up that foundation to educate,
right?
Not just on financial issues, but on, steroids and, helping these guys be, good citizens, as they're playing ball. And frankly, staying clean is really in the best interest of that player. You don't want to screw yourself up.
Yeah. But that's where the background is. Okay, thank you for the comment. We move on.
Let's go to Philip Berg. Good afternoon, gents. Working up here in Eastvale, where there are 1 million Dodger fans, 3 Angel fans, and 1 token Padre fan, me. Question, with some NFL teams releasing the divas like Tyreek, who would want to bring them on? In my job, if we act like that, we get fired, and it's hard to come back from that.
Well, Tyreek he's got 2 issues off the field. One, he's got to recover from the surgery for dislocated kneecap. Second, his productivity has really dipped. Now, I don't know whether that's related to wrist surgery that he had a year ago or whether it's just an age factor. And the third one is the bigger piece of the equation. He's getting sued for domestic abuse, a very bad case. And he's had a history of problems with women going all the way back to when he played college football. I think he's going to get suspended by the NFL. Now, they may let this lawsuit run its case, and I don't even care if he tries to buy his way out of this. He can still get sanctioned by the NFL. If he gets healthy and if he's cleared, and I don't think he will be, he could go back to Kansas City. But he's lost all of his bargaining value. But if he can still run, recover from the kneecap injury, he could still be an integral part of what Kansas City's doing. And there's no doubt that Kansas City's retooling everything they do offensively.
I mean, he seemed like he was a decent citizen in Kansas City, wasn't he?
No, he had problems he's had one woman that he's had a relationship with for the longest period of time. In fact, she was the one that was the victim of the abuse in college, but she stayed with him, but now she's suing him. And he's got, excuse the expression, baby mamas all over South Florida.
Planting the seed. I just seems like he's really gone off the rails in Miami. I mean, it's gotten really bad.
I think he's always been off the rails.
But it seemed like the Chiefs wanted to trade him because it was going to be too big of a salary. And
exactly. But Andy Reid's got a lot of players with a lot of problems. He tolerates that crap. The latest to arrive is Rashee Rice. Look where that's going to go.
No, yeah, that's a problem.
So we'll see what happens with Tyreek Hill. I would think if he's healthy and if this thing solves itself and if he doesn't get suspended, I think he deserves to get suspended. I bet he goes back to Kansas City on a low-budget contract and a 1-year deal.
Wow, but that guy is hella fast. He's skilled, man.
Well, he has been. Now, who knows? Dislocated kneecap changes everything.
Yeah, right on. Okay.
Speaking of 1-year contracts, this is just in. Tua send his mail to the Atlanta Falcons.
Jesus, the Atlanta Falcons?
They've signed him to a 1-year prove-yourself deal.
What a mess that is at quarterback there.
Well, they got him and they got Michael Penix. So they got 2 left-handers, and they will eat the contract of Kirk Cousins.
And everything about that is just a cluster.
Yeah. And he's not the same player he was the first 2 years. He was a really good player under Mike McDaniel first 2 years, but that's That's just in. And the Raiders have just signed another free agent, top pass rusher from the Indianapolis Colts, Kwity Paye, defensive end. So,
Wow.
I mean, they're adding players at a really frantic pace. Obviously, what happened in the early morning hours today when they signed the Baltimore Ravens top center, Tyler Lattimore, to a record 3-year, $81 million contract. So,
Hell yeah.
as we followed this while doing the podcast. Okay, let's move on. Next one.
You're just multitasking. Okay, let's go to Callan. Hey, afternoon, gents. Saw rumors are beginning to swirl about the University of San Diego's men's basketball coaching opening. Who should they go after?
Well, I've been told that they're about to hire J.R. Blunt, longtime assistant from Iowa State. Obviously, he's come out of the Big 12. Prior to that, I think was an assistant in the Big 10. I thought the coach they were going to hire was a coach at Cal Baptist, has really good credentials, but they did not move on him, or maybe the money wasn't right. Anyhow, we've been told they're hiring J.R. Blunt from Iowa State.
Yeah, Iowa State's a good place to recruit basketball coaches.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting how, like, Iowa you think of more for football, but Iowa State you think of more for basketball. Mm-hmm. It's like that in, like, Kansas and Kansas State are kind of similar in that way, aren't they?
Yep.
It's funny. But so I don't know. This could be interesting. I don't know anything about this guy. I just want to see a guy that has like a unique plan that's going to brand the university's style of play, that's going to make it attractive to certain kinds of ball players so he can have a niche that he can, leverage the way that, Randy Bennett has done at St. Mary's.
The difference is there's no tradition at USD, not in basketball.
Right. Yeah, you got to start it.
Not in football, which they treated almost like club football, though they've had good years. They got more of a tradition in baseball than they do in anything else.
Definitely.
Great law school at USD. That must mean there are some USD alumni who could become a sugar daddy to help that program grow. Because in essence, that's what they need. I mean, yeah. Steve Lavin got broadsided when the whole landscape of college basketball changed, and they weren't ready for the NIL. Surely we're not ready for the transfer portal, and look what happened.
Every college program needs a Steve Ballmer just to roll in and start doling out the cash.
So that's where we are. Good question, but that's the latest. We believe it's the assistant coach from Iowa State, J.D. Blunt. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Mike. Hey, my Cowboys were supposedly all in on Maxx Crosby, but did not get him. Do you believe that the boys are really going to go all in on defense, or is Jerry Jones just delusional? Talk about his issues, please.
Well, players are coming off the board at a phenomenal rate right now in free agency. The Raiders just signed another free agent, Nakobe Dean, linebacker, Philadelphia Eagles. That's a pretty good football player. So the Raiders are going crazy. The report was that Dallas refused to give up 2 number ones. Dallas offered a 1, a 2, and 1 other defensive starters. And then the Raiders had, at the last minute, the Baltimore Ravens show up offering 2 number ones and took the Baltimore pick. Jerry's active. I mean, Jerry did make one transaction, 1 deal today. So we'll just see. He's restructured, I think, 6 or 7 contracts. Now, there is no next year. They've pushed so much money across the threshold next year into the salary cap that they're going to have no money at all. Dak Prescott's cap figure is $76 million next year. He's renegotiated 3 times in the course of his career. So has to happen right now in terms of player acquisitions with the Cowboys.
Well, the salary cap's over 300 now.
It'll bump up.
It's going to keep going up. I mean, everything's going up in the NFL. Now, how old is Maxx Crosby? I mean, how many years do you think he has left?
He played 7 years. I think he's 31. He's only had 1 major injury. That was the knee injury, which was a minor clear-up. So I would say he's probably got another 4 or 5 years if there's no physical complications. But, geez.
2 number ones is a lot.
He gets off the plane in Baltimore, and Baltimore no longer has John Harbaugh, and Baltimore has lost so many players in free agency who left after Harbaugh got tossed out overboard. Baltimore's not the same team. Yes, they got Lamar Jackson, but, geez, boy, they've taken a hit today.
The NFL is like NCAA football, the way these rosters are like blowing up.
Oh, this is amazing. I can't tell you. When we hit the air, there have been 66 named players change teams in the first 3 hours this morning. Window opened at 9 a.m. So we came out on the air just at 1:30. Then 66 players. There have been a lot more. And I'm trying to pay attention to this and my email list while talking to you people. So it's crazy. That's why I'm imposing my will that you need to check my website first thing tomorrow morning. Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, best 15 minutes in sports. Read the football page. You won't believe I'll have all the data compiled. That goes for you too, wearing the Oakland A's hat, dummy.
You know what? You pepper me with a lot of texts during the day, which I love. It's like Hacksaw, sports updates. Can you believe this? Look at that. We should create like a text list. And because if you're sending them to me, I bet you a lot of the Hacksaw's Insiders group will love to see it as well.
Well, the Insiders group get access already. Insider groups get 2 newsletters a day.
Yeah, but some guys want to get peppered with like 15 to 20 texts a day of all these breaking sports headlines.
There's not enough minutes in the day for me to do on what add more onto what I'm doing already.
We can get more. We can squeeze the turnip more. Okay, let's go here to Carlos. Hey, the LA Rams make a move, sign a Kansas City Chief free agent cornerback Jalen Watson to pair him up with Trent McDuffie, who was just extended to a 4-year deal for $124 million. Rams doing their Dodgers impression.
Yeah, it's very impressive what they've done. I mean, there's no doubt they're wheeler dealers, and they're all in for right now. Super Bowl next season, maybe the final season for Matthew Stafford. They renegotiate contracts. They juggle the books. Cap goes up. I still ask the base business question, who's your quarterback of the future? Maybe they'll spend their draft pick to do that. And I think the other base question you have to pose is, can you afford to have $40 million for Matthew Stafford, play Puka Nacua $40 million, and you're paying McDuffie $31 million per year? That's pretty pricey stuff.
See, this goes back to Stan Kroenke. I mean, he's a smart guy, and he's won championships with the Avalanche, right?
Yep.
And then who else did he win a champ with? He's won with the Rams, of course. Mm-hmm. But what else does he own? Does he own another team?
Denver Nuggets.
Oh, the Nuggets, of course, the Nuggets.
And arenas, and he owns English Premier League soccer
So teams. That guy, you got to give it up for McVay and Snead, of course.
Oh, he's an entrepreneur.
But Kroenke is like next level ownership.
I concur. But, what the Rams have done, and the Rams have not lost anybody. That's the most amazing aspect. Usually in the NFL, I'm going to do this, but I'll have to bleed a little bit over here.
Well, they're bleeding draft picks.
Yeah.
F them draft
picks. But, the prime example's across town, the Chargers. So the Chargers assigned 4 guys, but they've lost 3 starters off last year's team already, plus they wiped out the coaching staff. I mean, they've turned their offensive coaching staff upside down, so that means new system, and Jesse Minter's gone to Baltimore. So the Chargers are kind of different right now, and as value as Joe Ortiz is in terms of acquisitions, he lost some key people in the first 3 hours of free agency today.
Well, I'm not losing sleep after having Becton go out the door.
No, but Zion Johnson's gone.
Yeah. But you were saying it was questionable.
always gone.
Yeah. I mean, you were saying Johnson, he was kind of up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Is he really worth 20? Well, I think the market proves that he is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. Rams have not taken any hits at all. Check the website. Damn it. Check the website right now. And first thing tomorrow morning, better yet, get on the email list so we can send you our newsletters. But we'll be covering NFL lock, stock, and barrel. Thanks for being with us.
Okay, let's go here. Retro. Hey, Dodgers spring training was way better when they played at Vero Beach.
Oh, I'm such a tradition guy. Did I ever tell you the story first time I went to Vero Beach? This was I was at Extra 690. And we had just merged with the stations in L.A., and we were 690, 1150 at that time because they were simulcasting our shows. And we were talking, I was in a staff meeting with our program director who was based out of L.A. by that point. And I said, his name is Don Martin. I really liked him, worked for him for a while. I said, Don, I'd really like to take my talk show to Dodgertown. And the Dodgers, obviously, were huge in L.A.
Well, yeah.
And he thought that was a great idea. So they sent me to Vero Beach. And I went to Dodgertown. I'd never been there. And Dodgertown has existed since 1947. When
That's Jackie Robinson, right?
Yeah, Branch Rickey, Jackie Robinson. And they bought an old Air Force barracks on the base of an old Air Force base. And that's where they built all their baseball fields. And it was so ahead of the curve in terms of facilities for players. It was just amazing. And I'll never forget the first day. I just kind of went for a walk in the afternoon and after the morning workout, and I just walked around the grounds, and I thought to myself, God, if this place could talk, could it tell you stories? I'm walking on the same fields that Jackie Robinson walked on in 1947, 48.
Yeah.
And you know, the boys of summer were here. And then it dawned on me, my dad, who had pitched in the Philadelphia A's organization in the 30s and right after the war, he had been to Vero Beach.
Really?
I thought, damn, I'm where my father was. I said, how cool is that? So I went there 3 years in a row before Extra 690 dissolved and we all lost our job. I had a blast. And there's nothing else in Vero Beach. Dodgertown is everything in that community. That is really cool.
Hallowed grounds.
Yeah, very much so. And I'm a big traditionalist. Old school.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with old school, because old school is experienced.
When you look up old school in the dictionary, there's Lee Hacksaw Hamilton right next to it. So, yeah, you know, it must have killed the residents of Vero Beach when the Dodgers left.
Well, Frank McCourt said we're moving to Arizona.
Right.
I mean, it made a lot of business sense to have Dodger fans from L.A. be able to come into Arizona for long weekends and all that. And there are a lot of Dodger fans in Arizona, but it had to be heartbreaking. But there's still a Class A baseball team in the Florida State League there. And they converted. What they did was they took Vero Beach, the facility, and they converted it into a regional baseball playoff center. They hold the state playoffs and tournaments and special events in Dodgertown still exists. It's not with the Dodgers, but it's still called Dodgertown. It's so cool. It would life experience just for me to be there, having grown up as a kid on Long Island when the Brooklyn Dodgers were still really relevant. To be there where Jackie Robinson was, and they had an administrative building right at the corner of the property, John, and they had a big cafeteria where all the players would eat. And this is all the players, minor league and major league players. Mm-hmm. And you walk in, and to the right-hand side, there's a media workroom as big as the studio here in your castle. And it was great. And then you walk down the hallway, all the way down the end of the hallway, and all they have, it might be a 100-yard walk down the hallway to the massive cafeteria at the end of the building, all down the walls. Historic Dodger pictures going back from the 1930s through the 90s and 2000s. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
That's like a sports museum.
It's like Cooperstown.
It is, and it's legit. I mean, that's the greatest thing. If you're a young prospect and you're invited to play there, and suddenly you're in the the shadows of Sandy Koufax and Fernando Valenzuela. I mean, that makes you feel like, man, I'm arriving, right?
Yeah. Oh, and to sit Holman Field is a small, cozy minor league ballpark where the Dodgers played. And I'd sit there and I'd watch guys hit home runs off the big brick building in right field, and old timers would sit there. And these people who live in Vero Beach, they come to the games every year, and they start talking about, I saw Duke Snyder hit one off that palm tree right next to the entrance of the administrative building. And guys are talking about Don Newcomb and Campanella.
Oh, my God.
And seeing Drysdale and Koufax in spring training. I mean,
then they go home and they go play, bocce ball at the resort. I want to ask you this. You know, when the Dodgers moved to their spring training to Phoenix, the Phoenix thing, they got a good thing cooking. You know, everyone's kind of close.
Right.
So going to the road games, it's not really that grueling.
Well, it's grueling now because of traffic in Phoenix is terrible.
But they're not driving to Yuma or Palm Springs. It's all close. Yeah. But what's it like in Florida? Because the grapefruit circuit, are they close to each other?
No, it's spread out. There's the grapefruit circuit's got a bunch of major league spring training camps on the eastern side, but there's a select group on the western side called the Gold Coast, the Tampa Bay side. So you've got at one point the Dodgers are there, the Orioles are on the east, and the Cardinals are on the east, and the Yankees obviously are in St. Petersburg, and the Mets are in Port St. Lucie and all that. But the travel is a lot more on team buses to go from exhibition game to exhibition game. Here in Phoenix in Arizona, and the Dodgers were the first one. The Dodgers said, we're coming to Camelback Ranch. And so the Dodgers showed up. And then Kansas City and Texas said, we're coming to surprise Arizona, which is out on the west side. And the Mariners and Padres obviously were already in Peoria. And then the Indians and the Cubs are in Mesa. The Giants are in Scottsdale. The A's are in Scottsdale. Then the Indians and the Reds said, we're coming to Goodyear. So right there on the one, I think it's called the 110 now, you've got all these fairly new facilities, Milwaukee's facilities there too, and then up and around. So it's easier to get to Cactus League games, but the traffic in Phoenix is just, if I had to move back to Phoenix, I'd kill myself. I couldn't handle the traffic.
It gets pretty ugly.
Yeah, it's like the 405 all the time.
Yeah, it can get pretty bad there.
Anyhow, that's the statement there. Dodger Spring Training, Vero Beach, really special. I bet if you Google, I'm big at looking at old videos, just Google YouTube, Dodgertown, Vero Beach. I bet you could find some fabulous videos.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, just the whole Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier, just that by itself with Vero Beach is spectacular. But yeah, there's so many stories, so many legends.
And the other thing, because I do my Saturday sports package at KUSI at 6:30 Saturday morning. I build boards and graphics. You can create any type of graphic and board you want. So I would say type in Dodgertown images or Dodgertown Vero Beach images, and you will go, the internet will bring you years and decades of different pictures of Dodger baseball. It's so, you're a Dodger fan, that's how you get your fix.
Yeah, there you go. We got some more. Here's another Dodger comment, and this is from Bill. He goes, a plethora of Dodger outfielders in the minors is uncanny. I wish they would forego signing free agents and bring guys up like Tibbs III, Z Hope, and Jay DePaula, to name a few. They are loaded.
Well, those guys are next in the equation. Dodgers historically, it's kind of a misnomer. They don't trade their whole farm system. This is not A.J. Preller LA version. They're very select. John and I always joke about Dodgers just got this guy, and they haven't traded any of their blue chip prospects. I mean, they got three really good outfielders. They still got a load of pitchers. Some of them coming off injury at Oklahoma City, but they just don't give away their players. It's kind of unique, different way to do business.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Padres don't have the same currency as the Dodgers, and so the Padres are going to trade their guys. But yeah, the Dodgers, I mean, they've always had a good system. I mean, remember they had like 4 or 5 Rookie of the Years in a row?
Yes.
Like in the 90s. And there's been some obviously Hall of Fame players that have come out of that program. So, let's go down the list here to, this is a good one from Bo Bello. Make sports talk great again. I like how Lee talks all sports and all teams. The other guys only talk about the local teams.
Hey, we do what we do. Spend a lot of time, using my networking contacts and researching. But see, I just had a very different philosophy. My philosophy was when I was, and I've said this on this podcast before when we talked about the history of sports talk radio. My philosophy is if I can cover all these different things, I can hit your hot button, his hot button, her hot button, this hot button over here, because I can talk about all these different topics. And that way people keep coming back to me. I mean, anybody can fire up the newspaper, say, oh, this is what they're writing about, so I'll talk about that. That's lazy-ass talk show radio. But, to go as in-depth as we just went on this podcast about NFL free agency or what I did with the NHL at the trade deadline, I'm appealing to this mass of people. The bottom line is you will get what you need to know about your team, your sport, if you come to me. You won't get it somewhere else. I guarantee you won't get it anywhere else, not even in your newspaper. I tend to think my website's better than your daily sports section of your newspaper. So anyhow, that's what we do. That's how we do it. Seems to work for me. So be it. And for the critics, if you don't like it, tough crap.
Well, be careful with those hot buttons. You don't want to push his hot button or her hot button and get you in trouble. Okay. But you do. I mean, you cover the world of sports. We talk auto racing, we talk golf, we talk tennis.
And why not?
Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
So, I mean, that was my philosophy when I started sports talk when I got to Phoenix. And that was my philosophy when I came to San Diego. And that was my philosophy when this yahoo called me and said, we need to talk about you doing this podcast. And look where we are.
Well, yeah. I mean, because you are like a fire hose of sports information just comes flying out of you.
Yeah, blame me.
And then and trivia questions on history. You need to be in front of a microphone. So I'm just happy we were able to figure this podcast thing out for you.
Let me just update you here because we do sports talk the way it should be done. The Raiders have signed another free agent. Let me just review for you.
You don't stop.
The Raiders have early today, in the early hours when free agency started, signed Tyler Linderbaum, the top center in the NFL free agent list from Baltimore, 3 years, $81 million. Then they signed Jalen Nalen, wide receiver, pretty young guy with a big arrow pointed up. He came from the Minnesota Vikings. Then the Raiders turned around and they signed, I got too many names here, Kwity Paye, top pass rusher, Indianapolis Colts. They just signed Nakobe Dean, pass rusher, Philadelphia Eagles. And now they just signed Green Bay Packer linebacker, Quay Walker. What a damn haul. And they still have 2 number 1 draft picks in their pocket from the Maxx Crosby trade. So, unbelievable.
Well, I want the Raiders to be back, man.
Well, they're trying to make themselves relevant because they dug themselves such a hole. And, boy, talk about bad decisions.
Well, they're fixing it now. That's why they had to deal Mad Max. And I'm kind of wondering what they're going to do with that number 1 overall.
Well, I think it's going to be the quarterback because that's why they got Lindenbaum.
Okay.
To help that quarterback. So now you got a really good offensive center. You got the 2 tight ends. You got 2 wide receivers because this Naylor kid's pretty good for Minnesota. You got Ashton Genty. That's pretty good periphery. And you still have 2 number 1 draft picks. And you've just signed a truckload of defensive players off free agency.
But what about their guards and tackles on the O-line?
Well, they've got some young guys they like, and they still got all draft picks to use.
Jesus. All right.
Interesting haul.
I agree.
Interesting haul. You're not going to show up wearing Raider gear, are you?
I'm all in, man. I mean, bring me the silver and black. Commitment to excellence.
Oh, my God. That might lead to divorce here.
No, man. I'm going to go back to the Oakland Coliseum. Is it still up there? We'll go to a game. Watch a doubleheader with the A's.
We're almost out of time. Go ahead.
I'll go to John. Hey, back in the U.S., jet lagged, still digesting the Caps trading John Carlson to the Ducks. Quack, I guess.
Yeah, Washington players are very upset. Ovechkin and a couple of other people said, wow, can't believe that this happened. Good guy. A real heavy-duty truckload defenseman, stay-at-home, leader, quiet, intellect, plays a lot of minutes, really good player. You know, the flip side is he brings real leadership and stability to go to the Ducks on the blue line. And Ducks have got a real mixed bag now, a whole wide variety of different quality defensemen and still a load of really good young defensemen. The only question I pose is the Ducks just traded a number 1 draft pick for a 36-year-old defenseman. But then maybe Pat Verbeek's opinion is we're playoff ready. And John Carlson makes us even better. And maybe we'll be good enough to go deeper into the postseason play, and that number 1 draft pick is going to be further down the board. So I won't worry about it because I've stockpiled so many draft picks. So even though, I've had huge questions about Verbeek's process, and all of a sudden it's starting to pay dividends. So I'm really excited for Ducks fans. They're just going crazy. Anaheim, I think they've had 13 straight sellouts, that's a lot. So I feel bad for Washington. Carlson's supposed to be a hell of a guy, hell of a leader, stay-at-home defenseman with just a world of experience. And Washington gets what's going to be probably a decent draft pick.
Well, here, Steve hates it. He says here, Ducks way overpaid. We'll see how this plays out.
Well, if Carlson can stay healthy, he does not have a history of injury problems. I mean, he's just been piles up a lot of minutes, lots of shifts. I mean, you look at the layout of that Ducks defense between him and they got Trouba, who came from the New York Rangers, and they've got four young defensemen that have logged a lot of minutes. They've not traded any of those kids. I kind of like the mix because you need a mix. Once you get to postseason, it's a different world. Once we get to April in the NHL playoffs, this Carlson's a really fine player. He's supposed to be just a tremendous guy.
Wow.
That's where we are. But
right.
Number 1 pick for a 36-year-old, like Steve says, he raises a question about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a fair question. Let's see if we can squeeze in some social media here. Let's talk some Padres with Banana Dano. Hey, talking about, this is Bueller.
Yes.
Didn't see the game. Can you comment on Bueller's outing?
I thought it was solid. He made some adjustments. He had a rocky inning, and then he came back and he was just buzzing the ball. I think the key thing with Buehler is his velocity has been maintained. His velocity is 94, which is you want. I don't think we're ever going to see him become a 95 or 97 mile an hour pitcher anymore. And then he just kind of revealed his offseason regimen that he's changed vitamins, he's changed supplements. He said he woke up February 1st, and for the first time in 2 years, he had no problems with his elbow. So far, so good. Got to continue to build good start upon good start. He's got at least 2 more starts before they have to make a decision. I don't think he's going to opt out of his contract. He's found himself. I think there's a wavelength communication thing with Ruben Niebla that's positive. So far, so good. We'll just have to see if he can continue to layer good start on good start and just give him innings. He's not going to be a complete game guy. Maybe he'll be a 4 or 5 inning starting pitcher as long as he doesn't have any physical setbacks. But we got him, we got Marquez, we got Musgrove. To me, King looks back. Vasquez has taken the next step forward. Hopefully this Pivetta shoulder fatigue is just a real minor thing, and they've got 3 weeks for him before they're ready for opening day. So I think emotionally, to me, Padres kind of all these pitching question marks that we've talked about nonstop seem to be scaling up. We'll see, as long as there's no setbacks.
Yeah. Plus, they have that Rodriguez kid in the bullpen, and I don't know if they're going to fit everybody in the roster.
Well, some guys have options you can send out.
But, this whole Buehler thing, I mean, imagine if you got 80% of peak Dodger Buehler.
Yeah.
That would be more than enough for a number 5 starter for the Padres.
Right on.
So I'll take that in a heartbeat.
Speaking of ex-Dodgers, before we wrap this up, first start, Cardinals, Dustin May, 5 shutout innings.
Yeah, he's hella good. That's Carrot Top out there on the mound.
Why was Carrot Top not signed by the Angels, who are desperate for pitching?
Yeah, or even the Padres. I mean, that guy's got a wicked movement on his fastball.
Yeah, when healthy. Now, he's had 2 setbacks, too.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. Listen, we cover a lot of topics on the table. Hope you have enjoyed what's really been an in-depth podcast full of information. Just a reminder, check my website when we're done. I previewed free agency. Subscribe so you can get on the email list. Check the website first thing tomorrow morning, because I will have a capsule summary of all the free agent signings. We have almost 80 free agents have now signed in the first day of free agency in the NFL. Just amazing. And, of course, you like all the other sports, I write about that too. We'll be back here on Thursday at 1:30. We'll give you a summary package of coverage of all things National Football League. You need to have yourself a good day. And don't wear Oakland A's gear to the podcast again.
Hey, I'm looking forward to these conference tournaments in basketball. Those are going to be good, too.
I agree. Podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. Got ideas? They got materials. Want projects to get done? They can be your best friend, your consultant. Go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things they have to offer. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for sharing time. Hope we've delivered all the information to you. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the follow button. Give us a 5-star rating. It helps us a great deal. We'll see you come Thursday on Hacksaw's Headlines.
Join us again for Hacksaw's Headlines on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And find the audio version on your favorite podcast app.
Touchdown, San Diego!
For more content, go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com.